In the month of October in 2009, I was with a few of my friends, and we decided one boring Saturday to go swimming. Since we all lived 4 minutes away from Balch Street, we decided to take a dive in their community pool. When we got in, there was a dramatic difference in atmosphere. It went from chilly, crisp air to a nice, humid, and warm environment. I tossed my phone on one of the tables, and we all jumped in the deep end and began swimming around. Jaleel, the tallest of our group, screamed, "Incoming," and ran from the end of the room, making a cannonball into the pool. The idiot landed on me, causing me to sink deep into the water. As I sank to the bottom, I noticed a black tile in the center of the pool, which confused me because I'd never seen it before. I mean, I should have automatically noticed it when entering the pool, considering the pool floor was white, except this part. I swam up to the surface to catch my breath and give Jaleel a piece of my mind. After an hour of swimming around, we all were ready to head home. As we stepped foot outside, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I left it in the pool area. I told the guys and headed back inside to retrieve my phone. When I turned around to head back out, the door wouldn't budge open. No matter how hard I pushed and desperately pulled, they remained locked. I checked my phone to see I had no service, and the time, which had read 8:35 p.m. The building wasn't closed, so the door shouldn't be locked. And on top of that, why the hell would they lock it from the inside? I looked around for another exit and saw an unfamiliar red door on the other side of the room. Since I had nowhere else to go, I went over to it. When I put my hand on the door handle, something felt wrong, but I just brushed it aside. The door opened to another pool area. This one mirrored the one behind me. Once I stepped foot into the other room, the door shut with swiftness, and within a blink of an eye, disappeared as if it never existed. I just stared at the blank wall for 10 seconds. What in the hell is going on? I asked the empty room. The pool in front of me was so still, there wasn't a single disturbance to cause a ripple. There was, however, that black tile at the center of the pool that was in the previous one. I walked around to find a door, window, or hell, even get some service on my phone. I came up empty-handed until I tripped over a hatchet in my frantic pacing. When I pulled it open, I saw a ladder that led down into another pool area. I climbed down, which had to have been 60 feet, and looked around at the massive pool room. Once my foot touched the stone floor, the hatchet above slammed shut. The pool in front of me had to have been 4 times the size of the other 2 upstairs. The shallow end read 3.5 feet, following all the way to the end, which had a max depth of 20 feet. This confused me because the deepest pool I ever saw went up to 12 feet. I walked around to get familiar with my surroundings and to find an exit. Then I looked in the pool again to see the black tile in the center of the pool. I began to panic and ran around yelling for help to no avail. No matter how much I tried to focus on getting out, that black tile would always catch my attention. I finally ran into another exit, or so I thought. There was a men's locker room tucked in the corner, located in the back. When I walked in, it was dark. I couldn't even see the other side of the room. The only source of light was coming from the pool, which had a red, ominous glow. I began to get an unwelcoming feeling. Just like clockwork, the door slammed shut behind me. Someone kept closing those doors, and I felt like I was going to meet them in that room. I walked closer to the pool, and of course I saw it. The black tile. I walked around the room cautiously, since there wasn't much light. I had to lay my back against the wall and feel my way around for another way out. To my dismay, there was nothing. Not a single latch, door handle, or even hidden compartment on the floor. I did notice something else strange, though. When I circled the room a second time, it seemed as if the pool was getting bigger. I'm not sure how that could even happen. By then, the unwelcoming feeling came back tenfold, yet I still couldn't understand why, since no one else but me was in the room. If that were the case, it was closing the doors? By the 4th time around the room, I figured it out. The pool wasn't getting bigger. No, as a matter of fact, the room was shrinking. It would take less time to complete a lap around the pool than before. Panic struck in as I realized I'd be enclosed in the pool with nowhere else to go. I pulled on the door that led me in here, but it wouldn't budge no matter how much I yanked and slammed my body against it. On my 7th lap around, it was too late. My feet were nearly inches from the pool. I had no choice but to jump in. The water was ice cold, making my skin sting. I kept swimming to keep my body temperature up. My eyes went wide when I saw the walls enclosing over the pool. I was literally going to be trapped in that water and soon die. I pushed with all the strength my weakened body had from the frigid waters, but nothing worked. Within several minutes, the room's walls were 4 by 4 feet, leaving me with nowhere to hold on to but water. My body got weak from constantly treading the brutally cold pool. My fingers were so numb I could barely clench them into a fist. I felt that horrible stinging that frostbite gives, and when that set in the room was sealed, I was left with my head touching the now ceiling of the room. There was nothing but water. I gave one last stroke before becoming completely useless and weak. I got one last crazy idea and looked at that black tile. That tile that was in every single pool and mocked me. That damn black tile that was never even in the original pool until today. I swam towards the tile, and to my surprise my hand went through. This must have been the next exit. With the remaining strength I had left, I used it to swim through the tight hole. The hole opened up to a dark, cavernous abyss. All around me were dozens of openings with a faint light, showing through, all in the shape of a square tile. It was too late for me to continue on, though. I was completely numb. My limbs were too weak to make a single stroke. I just floated there, losing oxygen. My lungs throbbed for air as I tried not to swallow any water. I tried my hardest to stay alive, but it wasn't enough. I drowned and swore I died in that murky abyss. I remember my eyes shutting and the painful stinging of water flowing into my throat and nasal passage. I woke up on the pool floor, coughing up water. The guys came rushing over to me, asking if I'm okay. Jaleel busted out in laughter. "Sorry, man, next time, get out the way, brew." I was frantic, pushing them off of me, screaming to get me the hell out of here. They eventually calmed me down, and I explained everything. From the black tile to the other pools and that red room. They all asked in unison, "What black tile?" And surely enough, when I looked in the pool, the tile was no longer there. I'd imagined the whole thing when Jaleel hit my head. So many questions went through my head, but I dismissed it as a really bad hallucination while drowning. We all got up and left the pool. Of course, I remembered to grab my phone this time. When we got back to my place, we just played DTA and watched horror movies. Flash forward to last Saturday, I took my family out to Balch Street for a swim. Everything was great. My cousin and I were still like kids, making huge waves, doing cannonballs and splashing each other. My cousin sprinted towards the pool and jumped my direction to crash into me with a huge cannonball. I dodged it in time, but swam down deeper to avoid him. Something caught my eye on the pool floor. I swam closer and saw an ever so apparent crack. I pulled on it to reveal a large black tile like all those years ago. I swam back to the surface, horrifying memories of those endless pools, and drowning came flooding back. I hopped out the pool and turned around to see nothing but the plain white floor. My cousin was laughing his ass off. Well, I just told everyone we need to leave now. They all groaned and begged to stay, but I said no, and told them I forgot I had some things to do that day, which was an obvious lie. As we headed out, I turned back one last time to see that black tile mocking me, sending a shiver down my spine. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.